This is Sonic Shine as a baby, and this is Sonic Shine as a fully grown, unstoppable energy creature capable of tearing entire cities apart. Today, I'm going to simulate what it would be like to raise Sonic Shine as a pet. I'll be building habitats for him, feeding him, introducing him to other animals, and recreating every stage of his life. Things are going to get insane. But first, here he is as a baby. He's sleeping right now, so I'm going to wake him up. Right now, Sonic Shine is only about 4 inches tall. His body softly glows, his eyes pulse with unstable light, and small energy sparks flicker around him. He has tiny claws, a smooth tail, and faint luminous patterns running across his skin. This creature is going to grow unimaginably powerful, but right now, this is the smallest and most harmless he will ever be. To see what it's like to raise Sonic Shine as a pet, I'm going to simulate his daily routine, starting with giving him some toys and testing how friendly he is. I'm even going to offer him my finger. Luckily, his energy output is still low, so it doesn't hurt. But later in this video, that's going to change completely. Then I gave him a slice of watermelon, next a pancake, and finally, a tiny chicken nugget. He absorbs the food almost instantly, as if converting it into raw energy. He washed it all down with some orange juice. Later in the video, I'll feed him much larger meals. But for now, he's still too small to handle much. The next thing he needs is a habitat. Somewhere that actually feels like home. So it's time for Sonic Shine to move in. He slowly explored his new environment, dipped into the water, wandered into a cave, hid behind plants, and seemed completely fascinated by everything. Over the next few days, he clearly enjoyed this place. He found a spot to sleep, let me feed him by hand, and then I tried petting him. Even though he looks dangerous, he allowed it. Over the next few days, he became more comfortable, more friendly, and noticeably stronger. He was growing faster every single day. So now, I'm going to introduce him to some other common pets, starting with a dog, then a cat. Surprisingly, he seemed curious rather than aggressive. But next, I decided to introduce live prey. Since his habitat contains water, I added fish to see if he could hunt. Over the next few days, he hunted all of them successfully and grew even larger. He's now over 2 feet tall. At this point, it's time to take Sonic Shine out into the real world, because soon he'll outgrow this habitat entirely. But he has no idea what's coming. Once Sonic Shine starts living outside and continues growing, he'll become one of the most powerful beings the world has ever seen. Before that, though, he desperately needed a bath. His energy residue was starting to smell awful, so I took him outside and began simulating life the way a kid would grow up. First, I took him to the park. Then, I took him to the beach. This was the first time he ever entered the ocean. He swam surprisingly well. He made friends with a turtle and another creature that he decided to eat. He couldn't swim too deep yet because of his size and unstable energy control, but something tells me he'll return here later. Eventually he got hungry, and so I brought him home and introduced him to new foods. Now, let's fast forward over a year of constant growth, feeding, and evolution. This is what Sonic Shine looks like now. He no longer fits in his original habitat. He sleeps on a human bed, he eats human-sized meals, he walks around outside, unintentionally terrifying people. Unfortunately, Sonic Shine has become too large and too powerful to keep as a pet. So for the next stage of his life, he's going to be transported to a local zoo to live among other large creatures. And even though he's grown up in his home since he was a baby, he needs far more space to survive and continue growing safely. So now it's time to transport him and see how he reacts. This instantly became the most unbelievable creature the zoo had ever seen. Standing over 6 feet tall, radiating raw energy, moving with incredible speed, and leaving glowing trails behind him, Sonic Shine was an instant sensation. Crowds gathered non-stop to watch him. The only one who didn't like the attention shift was the gorilla in the neighboring enclosure. Sonic Shine began eating massive meals, including full-sized steaks. But the constant attention quickly became overwhelming. People crowded his enclosure day and night, demanding him to do something impressive. He grew stressed, frustrated, and had nowhere to escape. He struggled to sleep because of the noise. He missed the quiet simplicity of his first home, where he was cared for and left in peace. Now, with his size and power, no one dared to get close. After days of non-stop staring, harassment, and even objects being thrown at him, something finally snapped. Sonic Shine began slamming into the glass walls, unleashing violent energy surges. Visitors panicked. Children screamed and ran. The zoo immediately took extreme measures. He was removed from public view, packed into a reinforced transport, and taken away. No one wanted him in the zoo anymore. He was isolated, hidden away, left alone in containment. Every night, his energy pulses echoed through the facility, unanswered. Eventually, Sonic Shine released a massive burst of concentrated radiant energy, melting through the walls of his containment chamber. And after escaping, he returned to the zoo, not to destroy it, but to free the other animals. Enclosures shattered, alarms screamed, chaos erupted. Now towering over 20 feet tall, Sonic Shine rampaged through the facility, overpowering anything that tried to stop him, including the gorilla that once tormented him. He didn't stay long. After reducing the zoo to ruins, he fled to the place he remembered most, the beach. Soon after, a pack of aggressive great white sharks surrounded him. Just as Sonic Shine prepared to unleash another massive energy surge, the military arrived. After escaping the zoo, he was now considered a global threat. He was captured and transported to a military base. The military planned to weaponize him. They fitted a massive shock collar around his neck, capable of disabling or killing him instantly. They integrated weapons into his body, pushing his power even further. Then, they sent him into battle. Facing an overwhelming enemy force, the military made a final decision. Helicopters flew overhead and dropped nuclear weapons directly onto Sonic Shine. The explosion was catastrophic. But instead of dying, he absorbed the radiation, growing larger, stronger, and completely uncontrollable. The shock collar shattered. Sonic Shine was free and angrier than ever. The world had created something it could no longer control.